Welcome back everyone to another episode of Ascended Masters 101. In the first video of this playlist, we spoke about 33 strategies or tricks that our own unreal self or lower self uses to try to thwart our spiritual progress. We are trying to return to God, walk a meaningful spiritual path, and become all that God wants us to be. And our lower self is the very real devil on our shoulders whose one and only mission is to keep us from doing so. We're about to jump into the very exciting revealing of each of these strategies by the Ascended Masters and what we can do to counteract them with strategies of light. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about this devil that's on our shoulders. We see this devil depicted in cartoons, but the Ascended Masters explain that this devil is a real thing. It has a number of names, including the lower self, the unreal self, the shadow side, or the dweller on the threshold. Our unreal self is the one sitting across from us in the chess game of our own personal Armageddon. In essence, we are at war with our own shadow side, and we will not have complete peace or reunion with God until we have bound this unreal part of ourselves. The Ascended Masters describe this in detail in the book, The Enemy Within. I'll link to this book in the description below. But I want to tell you that this war isn't just between you and your lower self. If you take one look at the world scene, it will come as no surprise that this battle is being fought on a global scale as well. This involves large forces of light and darkness. Angels, archangels, and many others are battling tirelessly with forces of darkness, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. Not to sound dramatic, but it is true. Now, the Ascended Masters have told us that there are many levels of heaven, 33 to be exact, and that every next level is greater in glory and in godliness than the last. Buddhism and Hinduism explain this as well. And as Jesus said in John 14:2, "In my Father's house are many mansions." These levels are inhabited by a vast hierarchy of light beings. These include angels, archangels, ascended masters, and Elohim, to name just a few. These beings are also known as the Great White Brotherhood. The word white doesn't refer to race, but to the halo or the aura of white light that surrounds their forms. The Great White Brotherhood is working tirelessly for the victory of light on planet Earth and for the ascension of every single soul of light, including you and I. So we have countless friends, mentors, and support systems in heaven that are here to help us have our spiritual victory. By the way, if you're not familiar with the Ascension, it is the ultimate goal of life and the very reason why we are striving on the spiritual path. To learn more, I invite you to watch the video on this channel called You and Your Ascension. Now, here's the surprising part. Our personal devil that each of us is wrestling with has friends. A whole network, in fact. The Ascended Masters teach us that there is what's called a false hierarchy, and it's the opposite of the ascending levels of heaven inhabited by beings of light. In Ascended Master Encyclopedia, we read that instead it is made up of a group of adepts of darkness that dwell in what's called the Astral Plane. The Astral Plane includes what the Catholic Church has called purgatory and hell. Buddhism and Hinduism explain this as well. It also has 33 levels, but instead of going up in vibration like the levels of heaven, it goes down in descending order of density. The adepts of darkness that abide here have their own structured hierarchy, but theirs is a hierarchy of darkness. They have their own lieutenants and generals and devils that each report to their own higher-ups. So the members of the false hierarchy consist of all sorts of unsavory characters, and they have tools or people that they work through who, just like them, are dedicated to the destruction of all that is of God. So all of these forces work together to oppose man's spiritual progress. And the main way they do this is to impersonate the true brotherhood of Ascended Masters. They basically pretend to be the real thing because all they are is a shadow. all they can do is imitate God and hope the children of light don't notice the difference, because they don't have anything lasting or real of their own. They have no light of their own. So they pretend, they put up smoke screens, and they have all of these tactics and tricks and shady business to try to confuse and divert and discourage the good souls on the planet who are working to grow into the reality of their higher self. Every time I think about this, I think about Star Wars, because it is so close to the truth. And there are so many parallels between this series and what the Ascended Masters teach us as being the truth. Maybe that's why these videos are so popular, because people recognize these principles as the very real equation between light and darkness that their own souls are dealing with on a daily basis. The Ascended Masters have told us that light will win in the Battle of Armageddon. We are on the winning side. And now, armed with the knowledge of these strategies, we can not just walk, but run towards our own spiritual victories. We can make spiritual progress so quickly if we start to learn these chess moves. The angels, archangels, Elohim, and countless others are right by our side, encouraging and supporting us every step of the way. So, without any further ado, let's get started with studying the strategies of light and darkness. If you're finding value in this content, I'd like to invite you to become a sponsor of what we are doing in this channel to help make the Ascended Masters a household word. We have built an awesome custom rewards program for our sponsors that delivers inspirational perks and gifts to support you on your own walk with the Ascended Masters. To learn more, check out the link in the description below or visit kumaricreations.com and click on the sponsor tab. We truly do appreciate your support, and a huge thank you to our current sponsors. It is you who make all of this possible, so thank you for watching, and God bless.